Hi, I'm Lise. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming an unhaul. So we're in a slightly different location today. Welcome to my spare room. I do of course have bookshelves in my spare room because I have bookshelves everywhere in my house. But yeah, in my spare room I do have the big pile of books that I am going to be unhauling. I've been accumulating these books for the last couple months, I think. And yeah, I thought I would just sit down and show you all the books that I'm planning on getting rid of. It is also finally getting a bit colder in the UK again, so I can have my hot coffees again, which I am really happy about. I'm kind of just going to get into it. I'm going to be giving you a kind of quick reason for why I'm going to be getting rid of them. And also just as a note as to what I do with my books when I get rid of them, I either offer them to friends or family who want them, I give them to charity shops, and also since I've moved here and I have quite a few libraries around me, I am going to be reaching out to some of my local libraries, seeing if they are currently accepting donations and if they would want any of the books that I have here. But yeah, let's just get into all of the books that are going to be leaving my collection. Also just to show this is the situation, the pile of books I have around me from the unhauling process. So the first ones I have here are actually ones that I literally pulled off my shelves this morning because I was thinking about them and I just don't want them anymore. But I have the 3rd, 4th and 5th books in the Plated Prisoner series by Ribbon Kennedy. I did already get rid of my copies of books 1 and 2 because I had the indie paperback editions. I just don't love this series anymore. Like, I really loved the first 3 books. Book 3 especially I thought was so good. And then I read book 4 and I literally was dragging my feet to finish that book. I really didn't like it. And I've just heard not great things about books 5 and 6 anyways. So I think these are going to very sadly be leaving my collection. Then I have a couple of Afterlight books here. So this first one is one that when I still had the subscription, I actually meant to skip this month. Completely forgot, but it is Under Lock and Key by Lana Ferguson. I mean, this copy's gorgeous, all the Afterlight books are, but this just really doesn't seem like it's going to be my kind of thing. And because it's such a beautiful copy, I would much prefer that it goes to someone who's actually interested in reading it. And then these next ones do hurt me a little bit. I'm going to be getting rid of my set of the Kiss Quotient books by Helen Huang. These are some of the most beautiful books ever. I think they are absolutely stunning. And I have read all of these and I did enjoy them, but not enough to kind of justify keeping them in my collection. I don't think I'm ever going to want to reread these books. And again, they're so beautiful. I know that there are a lot of people out there who would love to get their hands on a set. So this is one of the sets I do think that I'm actually going to be selling. And then speaking of beautiful editions that I'm going to sell, I am getting rid of my Fairy Loot editions of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. Now, I love these editions. I think they are gorgeous, but I've spoken I think a couple times on my channel about how I've kind of fallen out of love with Fourth Wing. I loved this first book. I gave it 5 stars. And then I was so let down by Iron Flame and Onyx Storm. And I do have another set of the books, all 3 books, that I am going to be keeping for now. But I never managed to get my hands on the Fairy Loot copy of Onyx Storm, so it's not a complete set. And again, I know a lot of people would really like these copies on their shelves, so they'll be going to a better home. Okay, then a couple more Illumicrate editions. I have read 2 of these, one I haven't. But I'm going to be getting rid of my copy of The Jasad Heir by Sarah Hashim. I did read this earlier this year and I did actually really enjoy it. I gave this book 4 stars. And I know the sequel has very recently come out for this, but I just have no desire to read it. And so I was kind of contemplating, like, is it worth me keeping this on my shelves despite the fact I enjoyed it if I'm not planning on continuing on with the series? And I kind of just decided no. This one I'm kind of sad that it's leaving my collection, but it's taking up space. I don't need it there. And then this one is an Afterlight book, but it is Best Hex Ever by Nadia El Farsi. I again read this earlier this year and again, I enjoyed it. I think I gave this one 3.25 stars. So like, I did like it. It was cute, it was fun. But number one, I have it on my Kindle anyway if I do for some reason ever want to reread it, but it just wasn't a romance that left enough of an impact on me to like justify remaining in my collection. But again, this copy is so cute, so I am sad to be parting ways with it, but again, someone else is going to enjoy it more than me. And then I haven't read this one, but I did attempt to earlier in the year and just wasn't really vibing with it, and that is A Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saft. Again, absolutely stunning edition, super gorgeous, but I just don't think this is going to be for me. Since I did attempt to read it, I have also seen a couple of other people reading and reviewing it and not really loving it, and it just doesn't seem like it's going to be my kind of thing. But I think that Ruth, my bestie Ruth, would actually really enjoy this. So Ruth, if you're watching this and you want this, let me know. Then I have a couple of indies here. This one again was a DNF from earlier in the year, which is the Trinity Prophecy by Marissa Kinzel. I feel bad about unhauling this because I did get sent a copy of this by the author, but it just wasn't for me. This is not a bad book by any means. I think that what I read of it was good. It's just not my kind of fantasy. And then I have 3 books in a series here. I only read the first one, but I just don't want to continue on with this series. But it is the Savage Lands series by Stacey Marie Brown. I did read this first one, but I didn't read book 2, which is Wildlands, and book 3, Deadlands. I did enjoy Savage Lands. I gave it, I think, a 4-star actually. But again, it's just not a series that I feel compelled to continue. And this is another one that I feel like I've heard kind of worse things about the series as it goes on. So yeah, the motivation's not there. I am sad whenever I get rid of indie paperbacks because I love the feel of an indie book. But yeah, these, you know, I have 3 books, they're taking up space, and I have a lot of books. I need as much space as I can get. So this little subsection is just some duplicate books. So first I have Things We Hide from the Light and Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. These are the paperbacks. I have now got the Fairy Loot hardbacks of this series, and I really like this series, but I don't need these standard paperbacks just taking up space on my shelves. Then this one, I truly don't know how I came to be in possession of a duplicate copy of this, but I have Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. I'm literally sat in front of my Cassandra Clare little shrine here, but I have the exact same copy of this book. Like, this isn't signed, there's nothing special about it, so I really just don't need it. And then I have, this was I believe the Waterstones signed edition of The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. I have the Afterlight edition of The Pairing, which I think is absolutely gorgeous, so I don't need the standard hardback on my shelves. This next one, I genuinely don't know why I pre-ordered at all. It's The Scarlet Veil by Shelby McCurran. This is the Waterstones exclusive edition. It's got sprayed edges, it's pretty. I did read the whole Serpent and Dove trilogy, and I loved the first one, hated the second one, and like was fine with the third one. This is a spin-off of the Serpent and Dove series. This is following one of the side characters in that, and I just really don't care to read any more in this world. So yeah, I don't know why I pre-ordered it, and I've had it on my shelf since it came out in like, when was it, like 2023? Yeah, I've had this since 2023, and I've never once thought about picking it up. Although this one actually I might give to my mum, because she actually did take my Serpent and Dove trilogy when I was unhauling them, so maybe she would like this one. Okay, and then 2 more duplicates I have The Coven by Harper L. Woods. I have the Fairy Loot edition of this. I did really enjoy this book, but yeah, I don't need the standard hardback. Then this is another one that I am going to be giving to my mum, and it is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. This is in the Bluey Boo dust jacket. I have the full set in all the dust jackets, and my mum loved Throne of Glass. She read Throne of Glass years ago, absolutely loved it, and I have been telling her she needs to read ACOTAR, so I'm going to give her this really pretty edition, and hopefully that will motivate her to actually read the series. Okay, then let's do some pretty special editions that I'm going to be getting rid of. I have A Fate Inked in Blood by Daniel L. Jensen. I did attempt to read this earlier this year and just really didn't get on with it. Then I have City of Stardust by Georgia Summers. This one I've had for a little while, and I just feel like I've not heard anything great about it. Like, I haven't heard anyone love this book or even really like it that much, and it also just wasn't one that I was super interested in to begin with. And then similarly with Son of Blood and Ruin by Marile Lars, I think is how you pronounce the author's name. And yeah, I've just heard similar things about this one. Another one that I DNF'd earlier in the year is The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean. Just not for me, but again, I think Ruth, if you're watching, I think you would like this one. And then this is another one that really pains me that I'm unhauling because this is such a beautiful edition, but it is Air by Sabaa Tahir. I DNF'd the Ember in the Ashes quartet, I think a year or 2 ago. I really liked the first book, was meh about the second one, and then didn't like the third one. And I didn't realise when this came in my Fairy Loot box that this was connected to the Ember Quartet. And so as absolutely stunning as this edition is, I just have no interest in it because it's connected to a series that I've already DNF'd. Okay, this one I feel like might be a little bit spicy, a little bit controversial, but I'm going to be getting rid of the Stolen Air duet by Holly Black. Now listen, I love The Cruel Prince. The Cruel Prince trilogy is one of my favourite YA trilogies of all time. I absolutely adore it. I read both of these books last year, and I was just really underwhelmed with them. Like, I don't know if it was because I was like kind of far removed from reading The Cruel Prince. Like, I read those years and years ago, and so I didn't have the same connection to the world and the characters. I don't know. but I just really didn't like them. Like, they were fine. I listened to them on audio. The listening experience was fine. I listened to them actually while I was decorating my house before I moved in, but they just unfortunately just don't hold a candle to the original Cruel Prince trilogy, and so yeah, I just don't need them on my shelves. This one is another one that could be a little bit of a spicier opinion, but I'm getting rid of Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Again, I listened to this last year while I was decorating my house, and I really didn't like this. And I'm like so disappointed because I had heard such good things about this. Like, everyone that I followed was loving this book, was having such a good time with it, and I just thought it was so boring and dry and like cookie cutter formula of like banter and all that kind of stuff. I am so happy for everyone that loves this book, but I was just so disappointed in it, and I have no desire whatsoever to continue on with this series. And then I am going to be getting rid of all of my Alice Oseman paperbacks. Now, I have read all but one of these. I haven't read Loveless, but I did really enjoy them, and I love Heartstopper by Alice Oseman, but these are YA contemporary, which even when I was a teenager was not really my genre. So as a 26-year-old, they're just not gonna like hit the same for me. But these ones I know for sure I'm going to be giving to my partner's cousin because she is 16, and I feel like these are the perfect books for her to read. So these are definitely going to be going to a good home. Then we're going to go through the last of my special editions I'm going to be getting rid of. None of these I have read, I just don't have an interest in them anymore. So first off, I have Sleep Like Death by Kaylin Bayron. I feel like this is a book that I would have really enjoyed when I was a teenager, but at this point I'm just not that interested, and for the most part fairy tale retellings are not really my thing. Then I have This Vicious Grace by Emily Theed. This one again, gorgeous cover, absolutely love, but again, I've had this for years. I think, when did this one come out? This one I got in 2022, and I have just never once had the desire to pick it up. The Girl with No Reflection by Keshi Chow, I think might be the right pronunciation. Again, stunning, just not something that I think I'm going to enjoy. What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez, I have heard a lot of really good things about actually. Like, this one I feel like was really beloved at the same kind of time as Divine Rivals, but number one, I really hated Divine Rivals, so I kind of feel like if a lot of people who love Divine Rivals are also loving this, it's probably not going to be for me. But that aside, it's just not one that I'm interested in. Never had a draw to pick it up. Blood Scion by Deborah Fallier? Deborah Fallier. I'm really sorry about my pronunciation today. I'm struggling. Again, gorgeous cover, but just not personally interested. And then the last of my subscription box special editions is After the Forest by Kel Woods. This one just looks too almost like cottagecore-y for me. So again, Ruth, maybe for you. And then these ones are special editions that I bought independently of subscription services, but it is Raybearer and Redemptor by Jordan Ifweko. This is a duology that I've heard really good things about, but again, I've had them for years and I've just never thought once about picking them up. And I know that a lot of people love this series, so maybe someone out there will be interested in these copies. And then the final two I have are probably the ones that I'm saddest about unhauling, but I have And I Darken and Now I Rise by Kirsten White. The reason that I'm really sad about these is because And I Darken I bought when I went to New York, I think 9 years ago now. It was my first time in a Barnes & Noble. I wanted to buy a book to kind of commemorate it, and this was the one I chose. And don't get me wrong, I really liked this book. I've read this book twice and I really liked it both times, but I just never got around to reading the sequel. Like, when I read this the second time, it was in preparation to read the sequel, and I just never did it. And I know that if I wanted to read this second book now, I'd have to reread this book again. And I have so many other books that I need to read that rereading this for a third time is just not a priority. So these ones I'm genuinely really sad to be getting rid of, because I've also had these in my collection for like 9 years, but I think it's time to finally part ways with them. Those are all the books that I'm going to be going through. I do have a couple more books that I'm going to be unhauling, but those are by authors that I don't really want to, in any capacity, kind of like platform. I'm getting rid of them because they are by problematic authors that I don't want to have on my shelves. But I will do a count of how many books I am actually unhauling, and I'll put it on the screen somewhere. But I'm gonna try, I am getting better about unhauling. I used to be so bad at it. Like, I would just hoard all of my books, even if I didn't love them, even if I had no interest in reading them anymore. I would keep them just because like I spent money on them and I wanted to build my book collection. But I'm at a point now where I have so many books and I don't have space on my shelves to be holding on to books that I didn't like or that I'm not interested in. I'm gonna try and do an unhaul at least twice a year. So I'm gonna probably try and do one towards the end of the year to like start the new year off with like a fresh shelves, all books that I'm really excited for, all books that I love. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please feel free to give it a like, subscribe if you feel like it, and hopefully I will see you in a new video again soon. Bye!